We are live. Hello, everybody. All right, already people on here. I'm just making a couple of quick notes to make sure that I cover everything that I want to cover. I don't want to forget anything. So we're going to cover some stuff about the car today. Let me have a look. I should actually have a look on here as well. Right. There we go. Okay. So like I say, I'm going to cover some stuff about the car today. I'm just going to chat for a little bit. So a little bit early, but I just thought I would make sure that I could get on. Being so technically minded and brilliant that I am, I always make something wrong, go wrong. Car. Hello there, Anna. Hi, you all right? Great to see you on here. And Ben, Patriot Dino, Andy Slacker, Leslie. Hello, everybody. Popping Jutsu and Taylor. Awesome. Okay. Gobi Desert. Hello, the Joker. Hi there, everyone. All right, I'm just going to let them all be joining for a little bit. I've got some forms to show people. I've got some letters to read out. And a few things to explain. But I don't want to go too much into it until I know for a fact that we're like a little bit past the actual time. Sheen, hi, how are you doing? Great to see you. Petri, hi. Been missing me. The Divine Science, hi, how are you doing? Good. Thought I would look more homely today, so I haven't bothered shaving. A bit rough. Samantha. Awesome. What time zone is it, Samantha? What time is it where you are? I have to keep putting my glasses on to read. Jonathan. Hi, Mike. You all right? Just like I say, I'm just making some notes just so I make sure that I cover what I want to cover. I know I've put a couple of things up, Tony, but if I do forget anything that I've put up before that I've said I was going to mention, you can say it in the chat and I'll go back and cover it. Okay. Perth, Australia, 1 a.m. Wow. Good for you. Got quite a lot of people on from Australia and down that way, you know, and New Zealand. That's brilliant, that is. Hey, let me have a quick look. No, it does it automatically. Okay, Jimmy and Tracy, hiya. Hello, Clive, how are you doing? All right, Clive Albert? Great to see you. So, what I'm going to... Glasses now. What I am going to cover, just a few different things. I want to mention briefly something about like the UCC. Actually, I'll make a note of that because it's tied into the 1099 part. So we want to say, I did make a video just on Thursday, but for some reason, I've had some strange things happening this last couple of weeks. Hiya, Richard. Good to see you. And this one, again, right, edited all the video, everything like that. And then when it come to put it up on the YouTube, it had gone. Just disappeared. Facebook user, that's all that says when you're saying hi. Fit like. So you need to put your name in so I know who Facebook user is. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like disappeared. I was going to put it up onto YouTube, and it had just gone. You know, I had edited it and everything, and put it up onto on my laptop. because it's easier to upload it from the laptop rather than doing it from the what do you call the other thing, Google Drive or anything. And it just disappeared. So I just took it that hey Lorraine, that yeah, it's like being magicians, making it all disappear. Nitya, okay, cool. Hey Andy. Andy Barlow's in the room. Zoe, oh yeah, all right. Yeah, so like, you know, I just take it that that's the creator's way of telling me don't put that video up. The not that there was anything bad in it, but it was talking a little bit about the 1099, which I've got some. Hey Fleming, great to see you. I've got some really good news and some tough news as well for me. So on the 1099, all right. Let's pull that down a little bit. Should move a bit so they can all see the picture. It's better looking than I am. The on the 1099, hopefully, like everyone's going to understand what I'm talking about. But if it's the first time you've been on here and you haven't heard it before, okay, the yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Do you know what? It's like the guy that was on the last time that I was on, I went live next week. Is it next week? I think it's going to be next week. I'm going to go on just purely for the members. We're going to go into some more private things and like deep dive into some more paperwork and also some methods. So, you know, obviously we can't put everything out to everybody, but like if you want to actually get onto the private side, then let me know. I've got a link. I can't do it now. At least I don't think I can do it now. I don't know how to use all this stuff. But once this has gone on to YouTube, I'll put a link in the description, I think. Is that what you do? For the members site. And then you can go on and then you can see all of the old webinars. That covers like commercial liens, acceptance for value, loads of different forms. And well, everything that you can imagine that's going on. And trusts is a big thing. I've got two huge things that I'm going on right now. And hey, Lindsay, and it kind of feels a little bit like it's like pressing down on me a bit, but it's not that bad. Like I'm not, you know, it doesn't bother me or anything, but just like I feel it's heavy sometimes when I'm trying to get rid of this workload, but it's stuff that I desperately need to do. So the first thing on the 1099, right, what it is it's a 1099 has to involve the IRS, which is the American tax service, Inland Revenue Service. Now, but it isn't a tax rebate, but you get money back, right? It's about securities, creation of securities. This is what it's about. Okay, now maybe I don't explain it, you know, perfectly well all the time, but the way it has to be done, I'm just going to show you these. This is what landed a massive big pile. This is coming from the United States, but what happens is this is all from your bank. Okay, now what I have to tell you, someone's just gotten a check in the UK. All right, so proof that this is working for people in the UK. All right. So you know, the thing is, you know, lots of people, I don't mind, you know, that people doubt it or anything. The whole purpose isn't just me to get money, but I mean, if I can do it and it works, then all of you can copy. You can do it. And if it fails, and well, I can't lose any money really, because you know, you don't have to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? There's like loads of people were saying, oh, it's a scam, this, a scam, that, but if it's a scam, then you have to pay for something and then not get your money back. Whereas, you know, the thing is on here, you don't pay anything, right? And the guy who's the expert at filling the forms in, and these are all the forms. Right, you pay him a percentage after you've got your money, okay? but it's not tax money. It isn't tax money, and it's not tax you've paid. It's securities creation. All right. Now, the only way you're going to get your head around it, okay, is to remember and understand and try to like get to grips with the fact that money is not real. All right. Well, money is real, like say gold and silver, but we don't walk around the town saying like, how many bits of silver for that pie, please? You know, not that I eat pies, but you know, the currency, okay. The good thing with these forms is that I only have to part fill them in, all right, and then the other guy in America, he fills the rest in. But this is like I say, this is worldwide, all right. So it's the securities creation, as in this. Your signature is the value, okay. Now, this all comes down from the Bills of Exchange Act 1882 or House Joint Resolution 192 if you're in the United States, okay. The 1882 one came first, obviously, and then later on the House Joint Resolution for the United States. But it's all about the central banks basically stole everything and still are stealing everything. And you know that, but it's like probably not understanding how much they've stolen everything, right? Because they've taken away the currency. So the only thing that they've taken away the gold and replaced it with currency, I should say. That's what I meant to say. So there's no real value. There's no real money. You've seen it, all right? I'm not going to get the note out. I can't read it anyway. But it says on your £10, £20, £30 or $100 bill, whatever it is, I promise to pay, right? Which is a promissory note, okay? There's no value in it. It's not worth anything at all. So what happens is, like, say, for instance, it's a loan, right? You sign for the loan at the bank, you create the money and you make a deposit into the bank. The bank do not lend you any money. They do not give you anything. That is a security creation. You create a promissory note with that signature, all right? So on your bank account, you are creating securities all the time, all right? So in reality, okay, you have like them, right, which are like silly bits of paper. Well, you can probably read it better than I can, because on there somewhere, there you go. I promise to pay the bearer on demand. All right, I can see it better looking up at the camera than I can look with my glasses on. It's so small. So they're worthless. They don't mean anything. All right. But when you use one of them or one of them, this one is the debit card. Let you come straight out your bank account. That's the credit card one. Okay. Now I don't really. You see, this is what to me it's like a credit card. And for me, it's for fuel. So I just go fill the car up and then I pay it off. I don't actually do credit that way. I don't do it. And then I made a mistake. I'm just saying that because I made a mistake. And then I got my statement through and I couldn't understand it. It was like I actually overpaid somehow. And I've got credit on my credit card of about 200 and odd quid. You ever heard of that? You got credit on your credit card. You know. Where did the gold go to? The gold, I think, kind of went to the 13 families, I think. Probably the Orsini's. They probably got it all. That's where the gold went to. So we were just talking about this the other day because of this 1089, which I am going to explain. All right. There's loads of great videos about how the banks create money. That's a very simple explanation that I gave you there, but that's really how it works. But the securities creation, what I'm talking about. So this is an electronic one. So every time you go in to a shop or even online and you use that card number, you're not signing anything, but it's an electronic signature. So you create the security. You create the money by your signature, even if it's an electronic signature. So, hey, John. So it can be a check creates it. I can't remember the last time I actually got given a check from the land registry, a refund from the land registry. So I'm overpaying on my credit cards and I'm getting refunds from the land registry. So that's so I did see a check, but I mean, my own, I've never seen a check that I've had, personal check, my check. I don't know, like easily for about like 14, 15 years or something. But, so checks or your cards or anything like that. The only time that this does not count is when you make a cash withdrawal. So you go to like a machine, hole in a wall and take the money out. It doesn't count. But every other time you're paying for your shopping, right? You're going to your favorite restaurant, okay? Or, anything whatsoever. Direct debits for your mortgage, direct debits for your rent. Everybody's hated council tax, all right, or property tax, okay? That, even though it's a direct debit or a standing order, however you've got it set up, it is an electronic. Hey, how are you doing, Van? It's an electronic signature and it creates security. So this 1099 is to reclaim the securities that you created. Now, the only way that they can do it is via a tax form, which is the 1099. Okay. So all the furlough. The furlough, do you know what it is? Spent a whole year, they shut my gym, right? Our gym. And we, for a year. And we didn't get a penny. Right, we didn't get any money, this furlough money or anything whatsoever. And all these people that, we were trying to get people to do online classes and the kids weren't turning up with these online classes. And, because we had to do it all like advertising it through like Facebook and everything like that. And then you're seeing these people and are sticking up these pictures and that. And they're sitting in the hot tubs drinking wine and drinking beer when they could have had the kids on doing like the online kickboxing classes, so they're spending all their furlough money when we didn't get any. They didn't give us one penny for that whole year. But anyway, it isn't real money anyway, right? So if there is gold on the Buckingham Palace, right, it didn't pay for anything, because all they do is they go tick, 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 boom. There's 10 million going over there. Tick, 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 boom. And there's another 10 million going over there. And nothing exists because it's not real. There's no such thing as this currency, all right? Doesn't exist. And like I say, you're creating it just the same as what, what's his name? What's his face? Ricky Sunak or something? And he's created all his furlough money out of thin air. Just a few buttons and there you go. Everyone's got whatever it was you got. We didn't. But anyway, so you create this money. You create it and it goes into the system, into the security system, which is the banking system. Yes? So even if it's like the check, or you've used your card, boom, there it is. Boom, you've paid for your night out, or you've paid to go to the cinema, or you've paid for your rent or your mortgage payment. All right, this is a good thing, man. So you've created that security, and the security has gone into the system. So it's called 1099 OID, original. What is it called? Discount. So you, original issuer discount. You are the issuer. Okay, you are the issuer. So the original issuer discount comes back to you. So the way it works is that you've issued it, and if you don't reclaim it after 3 years, the bank reclaims it. So someone gets that money, right? Although it's not really money, but it's still currency, and you can still buy things with the currency as it works. So you got to work with the system. There's plenty of people that are saying like, you got to become sovereign and you drop out of everything. You're not allowed to do anything. But I mean, you got to eat. Right, so you've still got to be in commerce. So I'm going to go on about like how to protect yourself by doing certain things when we're dealing in commerce, and we have to deal in commerce when we deal with these people. Where is it? Where is it? Look. So it's the Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. That's who we're dealing with. All right. So we have to put our names to this. We have to put our, well, not our names, actually, our person we have to put here. You understand? It's not me as a living. All right. The person, the capitalized thing. So this is, which I'm going to have to explain. So anyway, this one here is, as you can see, 2018 general instructions. The woman, very kind woman on the phone, when I had to ring the office, I was on the phone on hold for 1 hour, 22 minutes before I got through it, or before they actually started speaking. But she was very good. I think she must have had something wrong, where she was coughing like mad. She was either got some disease beginning with Charlie, or she smokes a lot. So this is for forms 1096, 97, 98, 99. 99 is one we want to do, and that's the instructions for filling it in. The good thing is, right, we don't have to fill them in. So the reason why I've got that one, the 2018, is because that is my family crest. That is my family crest that's on the screen, which is there as well. If it went dark, you would be able to see it better. But I'm by the big window there. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, that 2018, right? Because you go back 2000, you're allowed to do 3 years back. So mine's what does it say? It says gun, G-U-N-N. That's my, because I'm Scottish, right? So that is my clan. I've changed it slightly, and it says Aut Pax Aut Bellum, which is what we used to wear on our t-shirts when we were fighting. Okay, we used to have it, and it means either peace or war. So either one you choose, and I'm ready for either. And that one there, look, where is it? 2019. So we've got 2018. I have to fill the forms in for that one. I have 2019, so I'll fill the forms in for that one. And they told me that I have the same forms for 2020, because apparently they kept the same form for 2020, probably because of all of the hassles with less staff and everything because of Charlie. So the so I've got 2 sets of instructions for 2019 in case. So like I have got lots of these things with these boxes in. I'm not pretending to know what any of them mean. But anyway, look at this. So this actually dropped, right, through the letterbox yesterday. I'm sure it was yesterday. Yeah. So put that there. So all of these, if you see, it's got the year written on. So that one there tells you 2019. See, so just there. But apparently they use the same one for 2020 as well. Now I've got 10 forms for each year, because they said you can't have a mistake. All right. The what I do know, if you see on the top, right, it's got these 2 boxes here. One says void and one says corrected. Right. I can't remember which one, but one of them you have to put an X in. You don't ever tick anything on these, you know, like the tick. You can't do that, or it's voided, and the cancel it straight away. You put an X in whatever box that you've done. Now I did 6 hours Saturday and 6 hours on Sunday going like on this these forms. All right. And the Wilson clan is slightly different to Gun. I do know that. But I mean, you know, you can go with either. I mean, you know, and you can change it a little bit. The card, which card? The ID card? You want to see the ID card? I'll show you the ID card in a second, just so I'll finish going over this. So I watched all of the 12 hours, it was 12, 13 hours on Saturday and Sunday last weekend of going over this 1099 form, and it wasn't as good as what I had expected. I've also got flash drives of another like 30 odd hours, you know, of the OID 1099. But I didn't get to know anywhere near as what I had thought, you know. It was a very not me, I'm just listening, but it was a very argumentative session. You know, it was going off in different directions. They were talking about different things. But the thing is, right, that when I've heard about this from years, right? But on the 1099 forms, these are the 1099 forms, and they're done in triplicate, right? These are paper. You cannot get them online, like, and fill them in online. And if anyone ever says that to you, they're either wrong or they are scamming you. All right, you have to have these. They have to be filled in properly, like by typewriter, all right, or by hand in black pen. All right, it's the IRS. We're dealing with the dead entities. Okay, and that's the only way you have to do them, and then they have to be completed. So, you know, I heard about them for years, and then people kept saying, "Oh, I'm doing this 1099. We're going to get this money back," but they never explained how to do it. And then when you say, "Well, how do you?" and they kept saying all the time, direct debits, and it's there. You can claim direct debits back, just direct debits from your bank, but it's a different thing altogether. You can do a direct debit indemnity reclaim, but it's completely different, and you have to be very careful when you do it. On this, hello, doggy. On this is claiming your securities back. Okay. Hang on, get rid of these. Come on here. Yeah, it is a full-time job. It's crazy time. But I'll add the next part on after this as well. So anyway, this group that said, like, in the what do you call it, in England, the UK group, and they said, "Oh, we found an expert that'll do it for you," and I'm part of this group, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I had heard of the 1099. I've been chasing the 1099, you know, with Tazadak, like in the US. And then they said that they have an expert in the US that can do it. So all you have to do is get together all of your transactions in your bank accounts, and you can do it for bank accounts and credit cards, and you can do it for as many bank accounts as you got. I don't know, like, you know, some people have got more than one bank account, right? So, well, I haven't, but, like, you know, that people have, and like the credit card, I pay all through that. Like, because I don't have credit on it, I just like fuel the car and clear it off and just keep doing it like that. So I just use the same one all the time. It's just easy, it's stuck in the car. But so it's easier for me. But these other people, I heard them, and they've got like 2 and 3 bank accounts, and you can claim them all. There isn't a limit. You just need the forms for every one. It's a lot of forms. But anyway, so this group have done it now. Obviously, I'm very dubious and thinking, okay, can they do it? Can't, you know, if it was me, if I fail at doing my forms, then I can only blame myself, not a problem. But when you're trusting other people to do it for you, or they're saying they can do it, the good thing is it doesn't really cost you like loads of money. You have to buy the course to do it, but it's not fortune, it's next to nothing. But like, they've just done a video and sent me a video of the first check that they've got back. They've just got it back now, which is what, August 2021, and this is for a claim of 2017, because I mean they were doing it the year before as well, you see. So they have showed me that video, and this guy's got, like, a woman has just got $80,000 back. $80,000. It's for 1 year, and it's reclaiming the securities, not tax. So with this group, the I'm going to do it all. I'm not asking anyone else to do it. I'm not telling anyone else to do it. I'm not recommending this whatsoever. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and you can watch me. And if I fall flat on my face and then get nothing, then you can be witnessing this. And if I get the money, then you can see that and say, right, now go do it now. Now go do it. Okay? Because this is the proof. So there we are, right? So, like, you know, that there's no risk involved in you. You just got to watch me do it. So I'm either going to win or lose. Okay? But, right, so now I had been going through all the paperwork, going through all of the course, and one of the guys come up and went, he waited 3 months to get his 1099 forms. It's like, oh, man, I had only just like 2 weeks ago, was it? So I was thinking, oh, I'm going to wait for months. So I stopped studying it because I was doing the trusts. And then, like I say, this is literally yesterday morning, it was like, boom, I heard like on the letterbox that, oh my God, I hope that's not debt letters. And there they are. All right. So there's the 1099 form. So now I have to go back to it and start putting together all of the, that's what I'm going to go on to, Coco. So now I'm going to go back onto the 1099 to fill all the forms in again. I mean, I've got all, you see, because you can't make a mistake. So when I'm going through every single transaction, literally every day, you got to go through your bank accounts and you got to cross-reference it. So you can't make a mistake. So every single bit of money that you've paid out by direct debit, standing order, what do you call it? Your debit cards or a check if you write checks, right? All of that is security creation. And you are the originator. So it will come back to you, okay? The original issuer discount. That's what it is. It's security. You've created the securities, okay? So you have to apply to get that security back because you created it. The same as you created the money when you did the bank loan or mortgage, right? They've never lent you anything, okay? It doesn't exist. There's no money, does not exist. You create the money. You are the value. So now I've had to apply and I have got the EIN number from the IRS. Okay, so I rang again through to the Austin in Texas is where I got the 1099 forms. Austin in Texas, not Houston. I thought Houston, but it's Austin in Texas, and I rang and I got the 1099 form sent to me. I can't remember where I got the EIN number from, but I do have the telephone number upstairs. So I've got the EIN number, employment identification number. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about the UCC for. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen because we've had to, when you've spoke to the IRS, you've had to request an employer or employee identification number. It's a tax number, and once you've got that, it will link in eventually to the ITIN number, all right, your tax identification number, individual tax identification number. So we're volunteering ourselves to go into the tax system on the IRS. How ironic is that, eh? You know, spend all this time like avoiding it like the plague, and then you're jumping in. Okay, so the what you have to do if you want to do a 1099, and if this works and you're going to see me and I end up like that other woman and I'm getting like, you know, big lump sum, I don't know how much, say $50,000-$60,000, you're going to want to do it, aren't you? Because you issued that money, you created it, so you're going to, or the security, so you want it to come back, you have that currency, and then if you spend that currency again in that year, you reclaim it again, and you recycle it, and you recycle it, and you recycle it. Okay, so it's vitally important. But now this thing is, and it's not a problem, right? But you have got to make sure you have completed a UCC1 before you speak to the IRS. You have to be a secured party creditor private banker before you go and start chasing the IRS. Okay, so the well, you know, believe me, I'm going through the system, and it's a ITIN number and it is an EIN number, and I have them already. I've got them there. I've applied for them. I've got them, and we're going to be putting them in with the 1099 forms to reclaim the security. So watch this space is all I can say. All right. So the reason why you get the UCC1 is to become the secured party creditor, to protect you as the living, separate you from the actual straw man. Okay. So what I'm going to do, can I share my screen? Somebody helped me the other time. How do you do it? Share there, like share a screen. What screen do I want to share? Window, this one, share. Okay, now look. So I'll read that out here. It says the straw man debtor that does the 1099 OID. All right, then the secured creditor is not liable under the UCC 3402B, a provision of the Uniform Commercial Code that provides that an authorized representative who signs an instrument is not personally liable on the instrument if the representative's signature shows unambiguously that the signature is made on behalf of a represented person identified in the instrument. A person is the corporation. Okay, a person. Hopefully I'm back. Tell me that I'm back. Tell me that I'm back. Hey, Barbara, how you doing? All right. So the if you're going to do the 1099, then you have to be mixing and matching with the IRS in the United States. So, right, if you want to do that, then you need to use that. And it's the UCC 3401, isn't it? Right, that is what. Just quickly check. Yeah, the UCC 3402B. So that is what you want to be protecting yourself with. Okay, so that actually makes sure that you as a living person are separated from the actual corporate. All right. Okay, so that is where I am at with the 1099. So next week, tomorrow, I have a lot of physical work on. Okay, it is the Tin Man, the Straw Man, and the Wizard of Oz. It certainly, absolutely is. But that is why, that is a reason why you would be involved with the UCC and doing a UCC one, because that makes you a secured party creditor. And as a secured party creditor, they cannot chase you, okay, as a living person if there's any mistakes on a 1099. All right. So you need to, there's a 1099 forms, all of them there. All right, what I've got 10 forms, 10 of them for 2018, 10 of them for 2019, and 10 of them for 2020. So the first one that I'm working on is 2018, has to be in before November. Has to be in before November of this year for 2018. And then the same for the next year. All right. These are deadlines. You can do each year now for the 3 years going back, but that's the deadlines that you have. And once you've gone past that deadline, you can't claim that anymore. The bank took it already, so they have that money, that currency, as it was, that security, because you created it. Okay. So, excuse me. So on the 1099, that is a progress that we have made. All right, this is what we're going on to now, and what we're doing, I'll let you know exactly what it is. Now, I was trying to learn how to do the forms myself, so I was speaking to the guy in America, and I even paid for one-on-one coaching to fill the forms in, and he actually cancelled it and sent the money back when I can't do it. I don't feel confident enough to do it. To fill the forms in with you. You just watch the webinars. So that question I don't know the answer to, Van. not on the same claim. You'd have to make separate claims. You know, you would have to make separate claims for each account. You can do as many bank accounts as you want. By the way, you know, if you're running I don't know, a weird thing, and you've got 5 bank accounts, 5 personal bank accounts, then you can do 5 claims. All right, but I'm not saying by any means that they are straightforward. All right, the forms themselves. He showed us them on the weekend how to fill them in, and you know, if you look at them, you know, they don't look majorly complicated, right? But some of the things that he said that you had to put in the boxes and you had to write in didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It was like, well, why would you write that? It's because you're not talking about, these are tax forms, but you're not talking about tax. You're talking about securities. And they understand the difference when you see it written out the way that he was telling us to write it out. And I have, you know, all of that information, all of the notes I made. But like I say, on this group, then they'll do it for you. Now, I'm not, like I say, I'm not recommending anything. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. I'm not advising anyone to do anything, right? But if I do it and you watch me and it works, then you can all copy and do it, right? So then there's the proof. And, you know, and if it doesn't work, the only one that gets like hurt in any way will be me. So, you know, I'm not going to like let anyone get into any trouble, right? So, I mean, you're not going to get put in jail or anything, but just the hope. But, you know, if like, you know, I think you have to, to get the other group to do it, you pay £600 per account per year. So like, you know, if you do it that way, and then a percentage to the guy in America. But remember, you know, like this is like security that we created, but we didn't know. Now this currency, this when it comes back in our like kind of, well, I tell you, when you go to the restaurant, you pay for like with these like, you know, fake notes and everything, still works. And it's the only thing that we've got to work with at the minute, isn't it? So, you know, you didn't know you could get any of this. So to pay a little bit out, even a percentage, I think it's 12.5%, something like that, it means nothing because it wasn't yours anyway, in reality. So, you know, the you know, if to actually get that going and get it sorted out by paying someone else to help you, and then over the long term learn more and more and more how to actually do it yourself. Okay, hang on, I'm just gonna have a look and see if I've got any comments on there. That's it, they're all going in there. Whoops. Yeah, so if like on the UCC 1 or it's the UCC 3401, if there's any mistakes or anything like that, the liability is purely on the straw man. And remember, when you do a UCC 1, do you know what a UCC 1 is? All right, I was explaining that. Well, that was on the video that disappeared, so you did, nobody saw it. It's a lien form. A UCC 1 is a lien form, a commercial lien or lien or whatever you want to call it. In America, I hear them all talking about a lien, so I'll just call it a lien. You place a lien on your fiction or your straw man or your ens legis, whatever it is that you want to call it. You put a lien on them so that you have to be paid before anyone else. So if you make a mistake and the IRS send massive fine to you, or say, for instance, or something like that, it goes to the straw man, not to you. You understand that part, right? But the you have to be paid before anyone else is paid by the lien that you created through the UCC 1 and your security agreement together. The two things together, that is a lien. So this is dealing with America. You're dealing with the IRS in the United States of America. So you send the 1099s over to America, but you also send the UCC 1 over to America, and you're protecting yourself. So I have now these tax forms and tax identification numbers. So I have to make sure through those forms that I am a secured party creditor. I can't think of any better thing to do. These forms, the 1099 forms, got from Austin in Texas. I rang the IRS office in Austin, 1 hour, 22 minutes on the phone before I got to actually order them. Okay. All right. So the that is going to cover there. So that is the 1099. That is what we're actually doing now. So tomorrow I'll be like filling all the forms in again, preparing them, and then I have to send them all off to this group in the UK, and then they will send them off to the guy in the United States. It takes a little while. It's pointless on doing the 1099 forms because you know they wouldn't make any sense anyway, you know. Well, probably on their Kogo, yeah. You know, they send you the statements, but so they're telling you that you've created the security, but you don't realize you've created the security. We don't understand virtually half of anything that we've done, and right from the very beginning, either you, if you are parents, you know, you sign birth certificates for your children, you don't realize that you've actually just gave your child away, your son and daughter away to the government, and they are now wards of state. I've seen someone do a video today. The guy seemed very, very upset. He was actually crying, so he's probably telling the truth. Is somebody took the child, or I think it was his daughter, out of school to home educate them because he didn't like the way that the system was teaching them. He didn't like the way that the system was treating the children, and also about, like, you know, Charlie and the Victor, and the police came and took the child away. So they can do that because they own the child. And when I say child, you know, when it's yours, it's your son or daughter. When it's in the state, it's a child, it's children. There is a difference in the wording. They ought to play on words. Everything's a trick. It's a spell. It's a lie. And they own the child. So they've took this child away from him. Now, he's with a group, apparently, that support each other, a sovereign group, and they're all fighting very hard to get his daughter back. And the police, you know, these like clowns in costumes, they're just getting worse and worse every single day. The way that I look at it, and you watch them and you see the way that they're acting, you know, the way that I think that they can only be acting that way is, you know, it's like they're joining up with the school bully, all right, with Doris and his crew, the bullies, and they're like trying to be on the side of the bully. Hopefully that the bully won't turn on them. So if you help them bully everyone else, then you'll be okay. You know, it isn't illegal to homeschool your child whatsoever, but you get the social services involved for whatever reason, and then these clowns in costumes come knocking on the door, which is something that I wanted to talk about as well. Is the forms. I did actually read them out the last time on how to actually speak to the clowns in costumes when they do come around, and you have to deal with them. So I want to talk as well about the car and putting your car in a trust, and how to work with the DVLA or whatever it is, the equivalent of where you live, and private trusts. Because as well, I have just created a private trust for someone else. Because they took his grandchildren. So we created a private trust in equity and put all of his grandchildren into a family trust, private family trust in equity. The reason why we say it in equity, and we actually emphasize the fact that it's in equity is because equity is above statute legislation. It's above. All right. Now, the only way that they can deal with you as a person, all right, and you and your children as like wards of state is through statute legislation. So if we're actually working with equity and we have a private trust in equity and we give the children what they become res, which means they are the property of the trust, and the trustee is in charge of the property of the trust. They have a title, a property title. So they now have a specific title, which is just a serial number, and all of his grandchildren are now in a trust with this title. And what happened when he spoke to the social workers and the court that had took his grandchildren, they actually went, we can't speak to you about this. Out of our league, we have to go and speak to our legal team. And he ran away. Okay, so they know that they were in hot water and in difficulty when you were dealing with a private trust in equity. And it has to be written in equity. Like you actually have the it written like that. So you use those words so that they know the jurisdiction that they're going into is equity. Okay. And they can't try and talk about statute, or they can try, but it won't have any effect. Statute. And that's the only thing they have is statute legislation. So, I mean, that's terrible, you know, and they are still working on how to do these trusts. I am going to create a big trust. I'm going to create a community trust. And it is going to be a trust for everyone that you can all join. And when you join the trust, this private trust that we're going to be joining, then you will be going to put you are the res, your body is the res, your DNA will be the res, your fingerprints will be the res, and nobody can touch the res or the property, and they will all have individual title. Your DNA will have a title. Your blood group or blood will have a title. Your fingerprints will have a title. Your body will have a title. So they can't touch your body. Do you understand what I'm saying? They can't alter your DNA. Do you understand where this is coming from? So this is going to be a private trust, and you will all be in the private trust, or anybody who wants to be in the private trust. So what we're going to do with the private trust is we will issue ID cards similar to this, not with the same information on as this. You know, I haven't got any numbers on there. Only the number of when I actually got when Doris and the Queen decided to not interfere with me. But I haven't got any my L&D numbers or anything like that on here. I haven't got any numbers on. But we're going to get similar ones like that to be put in for anyone who wants to go into private trust, and they will get title numbers on. Title for my DNA is in a trust. My blood is in a trust. My body is in a trust. And using what do you call it? Equity, not statute. And you know when you go into a trust and you register a trust, it gets registered in statute legislation. When it's private and you use equity, you're way above. You're way above. So, you know, I'm going to keep you informed on that. I'm working very hard on that. And it would be the law of the Creator International Trust, which if you put the what do you call it, the letters is lock it. So that will be the trust that we're going to create. Now, like I say, I've done the private trust for this other guy to help with his grandchildren, because they stole his grandchildren, you know, that were living with him. you know, and hopefully then that'll work and get them back with him. And I don't know the other person that they were talking about, and they just went in because he wants to homeschool. But you know, like, because they talk all the time now about this. What is it? Is it Gillick or Gillet? Gillick. Is it competency? Who knows that word? All right. This is what they keep talking about, where they'll actually say to the kids, "Do you understand?" And now you want it, you know. And they ask the kids if they want it, and so they're saying that very soon it'll be ready. You know, I've already done the private one for like the other guy, and I think I spent like 13 hours going over this 1099 just last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and I still didn't learn anywhere near enough. Gillick, that's it, right? I knew it was something like that. To actually fill those forms in completely. If I had spent all that time going over the trust, I would be able to do it now. So I'm gonna I have to do the forms, the 1099. I have to catch up and do literally the figures, tick, 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 type it all out and get it, the facts and figures. And then after that, I'm going to be straight on the trust, and I'm going to be able to very soon. I'm going to be able to do it, so I can actually do that private trust, and it will be a group private trust, and everyone will be allowed to join the private trust. Whereas like this other like trust group, creation group, and I was speaking to, they wanted, I think it was like the minimum was £5,500 that they wanted for you to go into a group trust as well. So anyway, the so that's what we're going to be looking to do. Like, so the private trusts will be coming soon, and we'll be getting ID cards with that. So if ever you were stopped for anything, all right, then you can just be talking about, like, you know, telling them, well, I'm in a private trust, you know. What was that? That idiot from the Metropolitan Police, you know, it's obviously not even him, you know. Everybody that I know, like in lots of different groups, got who's like the last few months have got that letter. So they must just sit and wait till they've got a big pile of these letters and say, right, you send that off. So some poor, you know, fool in the office goes like, oh, right, yeah, £5,000 just to actually, and then and that was the minimum payment that they wanted, and then you could put all your property into a trust to a maximum of something like, I can't remember now, but it was something like 1.5 million. And then after the 1.5 million, if you had more valuable property, it went up and up, you know, going up. You know, it was you know, I couldn't believe it, you know. But I mean, the thing is with trusts, it's like a specialized, complicated area, and a lot of people are obviously worried about it. And then the yeah, it would be good to know. I know I might as well. The I'm reading people's comments as well as making a note of what I want to talk about. So they'll make a lot of money out of the trusts because people don't understand them. Okay. It does say that on the form. 1099 OID. Can you see that? Okay, so what I done is I actually got the 10 forms for 2018, 10 forms for 2019, and 10 forms for 2020. Although 19 and 20 are the same form because they didn't change them again because they were having staffing issues because of Charlie. Okay, so, but that's it. That's what's written on there. Okay, so the going on to the cars then. All about the car. Now, I've been backwards and forwards with the DVLA and, you know, craziness for a while. So I have in my, when I drive, hang on, I think it might be in here. Yeah, bit scrumpled up, but it's got it in there. I've got dozens and dozens of copies with the ID card. right? I've got a few of them because when all I did was Google. Just go on Google just for this one, not for nothing to do with the trusts. This is just the ID card here. All I did was go onto Google. I Googled plastic ID card, and there's a load of different websites and forms, right? See, so I've got one in here as well, and I keep that in the car, and I've got that one. That one's out my wallet. I don't generally carry my wallet. I don't generally carry a phone. I don't carry any ID apart from that. I'd if I have to take a bank card, I'll stick it in a pocket somewhere. I don't like to carry much ID with me. I don't want to be telling people anything like that. All right. I've got some other forms that I want to share with you and read out about these forms about how to claim for discrimination. I have to tell you something that I did. A bit naughty. But this as well. This is, I must have left the other bit in the car. This is my fee schedule. All the different figures in there. I must have took the other one out. I actually have, must be in the car. I keep it with my fee schedule and my ID card, and also the second part of my sovereignty forms. That's like thanking Doris and Lizzie for accepting me as sovereign. Okay, and I keep them in the car if I'm ever stopped. Okay, so, and you should as well. But what you should also do is you should get yourself some habeas corpus forms as well. So just in case they try and keep you longer than what they should, then you have to fill in a habeas corpus form, because they're not allowed to keep your body. That's what that means. So the have that ready to file. All right. But let's just go back a little bit, right? These are sort of like cautions and precautions that you should have. You should be taking, all right, for when you're driving, or not for driving, actually, for when you're traveling in your private conveyance is what you want to be doing. But right now, it's not for everyone, and this is something I want to explain to you and give you a choice over, and something maybe you should think about. So you can put your car in a trust without, if you don't think, right, that you know enough or brave enough to stand there with some clown in a costume, because they'll not be on their own. There's usually 4 or 5 of them, and then if you argue back with them, there's next thing you know, there's about 10. All right, that's how brave they are. So you got to remember that they've all had a massive intelligence test to join the clown service. So they have to prove how stupid they really are before they're allowed in. Then they also have to prove how gullible they are, and how that they will follow orders no matter how ridiculous that they are, right? And how they're easily manipulated, and they will do anything that they are told, no matter how unlawful it is. All right. So if give me what are you saying there? Taking to the police station. I was to have just sitting at the toilet. Yeah. So the bankers, the dogs, exactly, there they are. It's all just think of like the Wizard of Oz, and you've got those like evil little monkeys. That's them, flying monkeys. But right, let's go back. So if we're talking about like your car, if you don't think that you can actually like stand it and explain it, okay, if you can't stand it, if you think you're a little bit sort of like dubious, what you can still do is put your car in a trust, which protects your property, and it protects you in a lot of different ways. But right, this is the way you would do it if you wanted to stay right, in their system. And what I mean by their system is in the DVLA, you got to remember is you do not own that car. If you've registered the car, if you have a registration number on it, whatever it would be, I don't know what the plates are, but you know, they own the car, not you. So that's why it says on the form, that V5 thing that you get, they call it your logbook. It states this is not proof of ownership. You are just the registered keeper. So you get the pleasure of paying for everything, the fuel, the insurance, the tax, right? Fixing the bloody thing. You know, paying any fines where you park or anything like that, right? You are the one that has to do all that, but they own it, which is why if you don't tax it, they can literally take it away and crush it, you know? But if you want to protect you and protect the property, you can put that car in a trust. So if you want to fill in the V5, right, instead of putting it down as yourself, okay, you can put I should have got I haven't got a V5, but from what I can remember, you would put down when it says new owner, because you're going to pass it on. It's not just about selling it; it's passing the car on to someone else. So you're passing it on to the trust. So you can put, let's just say it's called Peter Private Trust. All right. So owner Peter Private Trust. Okay. And when it comes down to the signature, you can either put it in your name. So it could be, it's going to be the fiction. So capitalized, trustee, Peter Wilson. Trustee, Peter Wilson. Not Peter Wilson. Trustee, Peter Wilson. Title, don't put Mr., Mrs., put trustee. Okay. Owner of the car, Peter Private Trust or Peter Wilson Private Trust, whichever, you know, mine isn't called that, but, you know, let's just say it is. And then when you're doing the address, you have a mail address. You have a care of address. Do not put your home address down. All right. I'm not going to say this out on here, but you can get mailing address and proper mailing address, not a PO box. You don't want a PO box. These are like proper house numbers that you can get, and you can get them in a private. You can have them privately. A few people in the group have got them, and they're used as care of mailing addresses. So you put your car in a trust, and the new V5 document, the new logbook, goes to the new address. All right, and it's in the name of the trustee. I haven't got one. Okay, a V5, a logbook or anything like that. But like, if you do that, you put your car in trust, and the fact, like, there's no clown in a costume can argue with the fact on your logbook, and it states there owner, trustee, right, or keeper, trustee, and the owner is the private trust. And it's written on the actual V5 logbook. And then your car is in trust. So in other words, in the trust, it's basically like being a company car in reality. So if I don't recommend anybody speeding. I don't like speeding. All right. But let's just say that you accidentally went over the limit. Say I actually did it a few years ago, and I was trying to get past this lorry, and it was on 30s, and I pulled out because it was stopping, and there was traffic oncoming, but not so far anyway. And I was 34. It was. It was like flashed and everything like that. But if they send that to you, they send it to the address of the private trust, and they can only address it to the trustee, and then they'll say who was driving the car. All you have to say is like, what's private. We can't say what goes on in a private trust, because that's defeating the object of privacy. Okay. So the driving license, well, it depends on, you don't change your driving license address, because that is your address. It's got nothing to do with the car. These are two different things. You put your car in a private trust. All right, so your car is registered in a private trust, and your private trust should never be your home address. The way that I have my private trust, the address at the minute is actually another address where my gym is. But I don't know exactly what's going to happen because the lease is coming up there. I don't know what to do, if I should continue or move or what. I don't know yet. So I'm going to move it to my private address, which I have, which is down south somewhere. Anyway, miles away from me. So I'm going to change my trust. If you have your trust documents, you have your, I don't know what it's called, but like a memorandum, say for instance, change it and change address. But it's got nothing to do with the driving license. The driving license, which I never have, I never carry my driving license because I carry that ID card, and I wouldn't be showing anyone with driving license. That's what I'm going to be showing people. But you don't change the driving license number. Well, yeah, but that's the argument that you have to have with them, isn't it? About like it being registered and commercial and everything like that. We know and we comprehend from the law, case law as well, that there's a massive difference between driving and traveling. So, but the reason why I'm saying about putting your car into a trust and still registering it with the DVLA is if you're not confident enough to be able to argue the point of the difference once they lock you up in the jail or the cell, to be able to argue the point of like, well, I wasn't driving is commerce. I am traveling in my private conveyance and it's my private property. I am sovereign being of a man. I don't come under acts and statutes. The Road Traffic Act 163 or 164 has no effect on me whatsoever. I am merely freely traveling as stated on the passport, and I should travel unhindered and assisted by people like yourself. That is exactly true, and you have case law that you can state with that as well, and you can even have it written down. I have, like I said, I showed like my fee schedule, because that's what I would be telling them. Say, if you're going to detain me, then this is what, you under motu proprio, you are going to be personally liable. Not your uniform, and your uniform can't protect you. It won't be the police company that's going to be getting prosecuted. It's going to be you. I will be holding you in your personal capacity liable. And this is what I'm going to be like going for. And there were the fees on there. So I have that with my sovereignty document, and on the sovereignty document, it's basically just saying thank you for accepting me as being sovereign. It is now recognized by unrebutted affidavits from, and we have the name of the Sinister Seven. And that's it's just a photocopy. I must have left it in the car, but when I take it out, you can actually see it. All I did was scan it and then printed it out on my printer, and you can see it's got the stamp on it and my thumbprint, but you can see it's just a photocopy. So you can print hundreds of them off and giving them to people. But this way of doing it is if you haven't got the confidence to actually argue that, you're still putting your car in trust. They can't touch your car. You can't do anything to your car. Okay? So no, I didn't get a postal reg number for the ID card. Haven't put the only numbers I've got on the ID card is the date of when it was. I was accepted by Doris and Lizzie as sovereign. I haven't got any other numbers on or any identifying numbers on or anything like that. But that's just me, and I've seen loads of different people have different types and different versions. But you can just go onto Google and just put plastic ID card, and you just upload your own photograph. And this was a picture as well. I just uploaded it as an image. It's very easy to do, forms.com. That you could use that. Where I actually use a different form for it. I use the government form. All right, I'm going to show you something, because what I was saying about like being in the car, right? So that's one way of doing the trust, and you're protecting your car, but you're still registering it, all right, with the DVLA. So you're not going to get stopped for not having tax on it. Do you understand? And it's up to you if you want to carry a driving license and insurance and all of that. So it's in the trust. The car is in a trust. Okay. All right. But you've still got your road tax. So if you haven't got the confidence to be able to argue and put your point across, that's all I'm saying. There's an option, and you're still putting your car in a trust and protecting your property, because they're going to try and take your property one way or the other. All right. But the forms that you want to have. You want to have, if you know, your ID card, right, if you're going that way, and your fee schedule, and also proof of your sovereignty, what I was just talking about, the unrebutted affidavits, but also have habeas corpus forms ready. Now, I'm going to go back to share now. Where did I do that? There, share. Share screen. I think I want to do that. There, share. All right, now the this here is government one. Look there, justice.gov.uk, and this is applications for writ of habeas corpus, and there's lots of different instructions and everything. But I did actually see there, it tells you you make a claim under form part 8 there on the form, and it tells you how to do it, get your affidavit and everything, so you can get this all prepared, okay, and all of the instructions on how to do it on there, okay. And if this, you don't fill this in, you get this ready to fill in. All right, so I'll stop sharing there. And come back to here. Okay, so did you see that? Hopefully. So the and yeah, you can have that. You can have that like ready with the other forms if they're going to detain you and keep you in longer than what they should be doing, and they've been a bit naughty, which they generally are nowadays, aren't they? They're getting worse and worse and worse. 100% becoming a police state, you know. So the other way, Plastic Card Factory, well, that looks like a good one. Yeah, plasticcardfactory.co.uk. Have a look on for the ID cards. You can easily get them. This one, you had to get 6 or 7 or 8. I can't remember, but it wasn't one, and it cost about £5 or £6 per card. You know, and I got 5 or 6 of them at the same time. And then I keep one in my wallet. I keep one in the house. I keep one in the car. So I've always got something that I can use. So you're never going to get accused of failure to provide ID. All right, you're just not going to give them your joinder. You're not going to give them your name and address and date of birth, are you? All right, it's written up there. What's your name? My name is Peter. Peter. There you go. Okay. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So you're doing it like that, and you're not failing to identify. There's a photograph. Okay, they can see who I am and they can see my name. All right, and then obviously you have the body cam as well. Like I haven't got it here to show you, right? But this is what I mean. I have to tell you. I have to show you these forms as well. Where are they now? I'm sure I've got it here. Right, letter before action. Okay, so there's a couple of forms that I'm going to show you. And one of them is because of this body cam. I have a body cam. It's a proper professional, exactly the same one as the police use, or very similar. And it clips on there and you can actually film. So rather than, you know, you see everybody, there it is. All right. And, you know, they've got their phone out and they're like filming like that. I've seen loads of times and the police grab the phone and steal the phone or throw the phone away. Maybe it's not so much for me, right? But for younger people, I've seen them like say, "Well, I need to take your phone and we're going to search your phone for like drug offences." And you know, it's so. But if you have your body cam and your body cam's filming everything professionally, all right. So you could have that on all. Just have it on all the time. And if you ever, you know, just click the button to start recording whenever you go anywhere. Okay. It's going to go up on the website. Yeah, Clive, it is going to go up on there. I will be putting this up. I'm sure I'll put the other one up. So the video that I did during the week and it just disappeared and I couldn't get it up onto Facebook. If you're using a DVLA driving license, that means you're accepting their rules. I know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like if you want to use your driving license, then that's what you have to accept it. But yeah, you can still put your car in a trust and still be protected. Okay. So it's completely different. you know, to actually doing it and saying you're traveling. There's different ways of doing it, but what I'm saying is a good choice if you don't think that you've got the confidence to be able to argue with the clowns, then put your car in a trust but still register it with the DVLA as in a trust. So you're still paying your actual road tax, right? So you're not going to end up in an argument, okay? But they can't touch your car. They cannot touch your car. And again, even with car parking tickets or anything like that, there's nothing that they can do with them. If it's not you that owns the car, it's a trustee, okay? It'll stay on YouTube, but I will also be putting it up on the site as well. And next week, I'm sure it's next week, and I'm going to go over, and it's going to be for members only next week. We're going to do the webinar, okay? Excuse me. All right, but you can still put your car in a trust and still be traveling as well, because then your car is your private property in a private trust. So you can actually put your car in a private trust, then put that private trust in a UCC1 trust, having a lien written on it through the UCC1 and the security agreement. Okay, so you're going to have a trust in a trust in a trust. So the you know, so I mean, it's like quite a strong thing to actually have there, really. Okay. You know, on the security agreement that you do that ties in the security agreement and the UCC1 is a lien, and you can put your car in the lien, and you can put a layer kit. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Layers of protection. Think of a castle, all right? And you go around the castle. They've got one maybe about an hour's drive from here, and they've still got a moat, which I don't think was about protection. I don't want to get down that road about the electricity supply and everything, but let's just think about it like sort of like as normal people. Let's not pretend who we are, pretend we're normal. And you would think that that moat was for protection. So people have to get past that bit of protection for the moat. As soon as they get past that moat, or I don't know, get a boat and row across whatever, you hit the wall. You got the castle wall. So then you have to climb over the castle wall, and then you get past that castle wall, and then you got what they would call a motte and bailey, which is like a little keep, which is like a castle inside the castle. So you've got layers of protection all the way through. And this is the same type of thing. So you can put your car in a private trust, all right, if that's the way you want to do it. But if you want to be traveling, not driving, as in not being in commerce, okay, then you definitely want to put your car in a trust, definitely, so that you know. And then you're saying there, this is my private conveyance that I'm using. It's in a private trust. I don't own it. The trust owns it, and the trustee's in charge of it. The trustee, who said that, it's not liable. Exactly right as well. Okay. All right. So if you're going to be traveling, as in not doing it there, then you want to be putting your car in that private trust, which I can do for you very, very soon, and it won't cost you $5.5 grand or whatever it is. You know, I mean, that's, dear me. Okay, so if you want to do it like with traveling, then like I say, make sure you have your paperwork. You make sure you're evidenced properly all the way through as well. You can't just decide. So I see people doing that, and they just say, "Oh, I'm not going to pay any tax. I'm not witnessed as evidence as sovereign or anything like that," and they just do it, and they get stopped, and then they get in trouble, and they don't know what to say. This is what I'm saying. Like, you know, you can still put your car in a trust. Private trust, protect it, but still register it with the DVLA. You know, so it's kind of like being in both worlds, if you want to call it. But you know, if you're going to be traveling, not driving, you don't have your driving license, you just have an ID card. You don't need a driving license because you're not in commerce. All right, have a look at Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. keep changing the actual sentences and everything like that, but it states point blank, and there is case law as well to show it. It's like you're only a driver if you're working in commerce or working on the road, as in taxi driver, bus driver, lorry driver for goods, traveling, putting goods different places. If you're going from A to B, then you're just a traveler. Okay. Now, the thing is with the rules and regulations is they put them in here to try and hide everything from us. It's easier to find things like this when you go to different countries. In the UK, they've hidden it better because they've been beating us up for a lot longer. And I think that's why it's such a weak country. People think, oh, Great Britain, you know what I mean? But it's not. It's weaker here. The people are weaker here. You just got to see them, you know. And there's still people walking around like this, you know, in the shops and everything like that. Now, you know, there's still people walking down the street in the fresh air, down the beach with this on, got a nappy on the face. You know, it's depressing. This will be saved on YouTube, okay? And, well, it will be saved on YouTube, so you can see it there. It will also be going up into the private member site as well. And next week, we'll be doing a webinar purely for the private members, which will be on a, what do you call it, Zoom? Yeah. The thing is that if you look at the UK, we've got the City of London, all right there. Now, if you look at the City of London, it's a state of its own, the same as the Vatican City. You've got London City and you've got Washington, D.C., the three centers of the cabal, the three centers of the central banking system. I'll send you a link for the private members, Tracy. Okay, I'll put one up on after the end. I don't know how to put links into this. Should know that, shouldn't I? Let's see if I can do it. Have a look. Wait, give me 2 seconds. Because I'm so technically brilliant, you know. Not. Right. Okay. So if I put that there. Oh, there you go. There you are. So you click on there, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so I was saying about like the City of London, right? Now, that is like the heart. That is literally black blood running through the heart of the cabal. Is that City of London? You know, in 1540, the Venetians, which is the black nobility, they actually schemed to get the third crown, the corporation crown, the convocation. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, the convocation crown. And they got it handed to Henry VIII in England, who was like 100% filthy scumbag. And, you know, he was terrible, evil cabal. But they're still all fighting each other as well, you know. It's not like this great big unity thing, you know, and that, like there's like the cabal are the best thing and the greatest. You know, they hate each other as well. You know, they're just the same as, like, you know, any organized crime. Everybody wants to be the boss of the bosses, so they're all going to kill each other. But they actually got Henry VIII the crown, which is why he split with Rome, which is he took all of the wealth out of the churches, because the churches were massively wealthy, and he wanted it, so he took it all. Now, when he did that, right, he took the convocation crown, and he took all, and he split, and then he made himself head of the Church of England. So he was God's representative on earth, basically, is what he was saying. The same as the Pope, but he was English. Now, then in 1816, the Venetians again, scheming again, the cabal again, got the crown, the convocation crown, awarded to the City of London. So then in 1816, the city of, I'm sure it's 15 or 16, but I think 16, that is when the corporation was born. That was when City of London became its own state inside of the city. Yeah. And that is it was awarded to the temple, right? The Knights Templar, the original one, at Temple Bar. So that is where the legal profession come from. When you pass the bar or you're accepted in the bar, it's the Temple Bar in London. So it was called something like the Temple Crown then, and eventually just became the Crown and the Crown Corporation. So that's where it all goes. So there you are. That is the how that came about. So that's why it is so corrupt in England and so corrupt. And then from there, the filth that they've spread across the world, you know, and all coming from the two, even because what do you call it? Washington D.C. come later. You know, you had and they aimed for that. They wanted that. They didn't. It's why, you know, you haven't got like Florida isn't like the capital, because they wanted that. The obelisk in Washington, because they've got it in London, they've got it in the Vatican. All right, so they wanted it there, which has took me totally off what I wanted to talk about. But I'm just saying, it's, you know, the corruption is disgusting, and what they've done to all the other places around the world, you know, it is absolutely horrendous. And you look at that, if you ever heard of a man called Cecil, or Cecil, however you want to pronounce it, Rhodes, complete Crown Corporation agent, a Crown agent on every single fiber of his being. Probably, you know, they're not human. They're not, well, human. Hue is a color, isn't it? You know, so the color of man, but they're not even that. They're you know, they're probably from somewhere else, because they have no empathy. They have no, if you look now, right, what's happening now, there's no feeling when they see suffering and death. It's like, I went to see someone else's gym not long ago, and it was during the last lockdown, when we were locked down, and they tried to come and arrest me at my gym. And I went to see this guy who kept his gym open all the way through lockdown 1, all the way through lockdown 2, and he did it because one of his members, right, because they couldn't get to the gym, committed suicide, you know. And he was, yes, exactly, but his name was Rhodes. Now he founded Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, and he basically murdered and raped the whole of Africa, Southern Africa, you know. And he was like massively in the diamond industry, in the gold industry, you know. But like, he was working for the Crown Corporation 100%, Rhodes. And from all of these, it all comes like from the Crown Corporation, even from like, it's all Roman. It's all like civil law is like, means civili, which comes from the Roman, you know, canon law. But anyway, you know, so he kept his gym open because, you know, but like I'm saying, these people are watching all the suicide rate flying through the roof. It doesn't bother them. They're probably actually happy, you know. So it's the way the Crown Corporation is. It's coming from that centre, from London there, you know. So anyway, right. Talked about a few different things there, but what I definitely wanted to talk about was the Canadian deal. I got it written down there, like, Canadian deal. I've got to talk about that. So I don't. All right. Hopefully you have. We're going to have to keep an eye on this case. this guy has been in court in Canada, and he subpoenaed the Attorney General of Alberta in Canada, because the it's for a fine. I think it was $1,500 or $1,200, whatever it was. It was a fine over $1,000, and he was fighting. And he said, "Well, the case, right? I'm going to subpoena the Attorney General so that we can have them prove that they have got, Victor, the really is there. Charlie is there." So that they must have isolated it then, so they can prove that it's there. And the Attorney General or their office actually in court, in case law, admitted they hadn't done it. Okay, so they admitted that they have not done it. They have never isolated it. Now we all know that anyway, right? We know the truth. We know exactly what's going on, but they had to admit it in court. This is the difference. Okay, so now we'll have to keep an eye on it because the case still isn't finished. We need that case law, which is what a lot of people that have been watching as well have been trying to get case law from unrebutted affidavits about what do you call it, sovereignty and things like that. So, but this is a big thing. So I'm keeping a very close eye on it because a lot of my colleagues call them that, right? A lot of them have got massive fines for running their gym and trying to keep their gym open and that, like this guy. Now, if we can go in with case law to say, well, the Attorney General in Canada, case law, absolutely 100%. They said they had not isolated this thing. So there simply cannot be this public health crisis. So that there's no grounds for shutting it down. So then there's no grounds for a fine. All right. So not everybody that's like saying the gym industry would be looking at videos like what we can see. So we just need to keep a close eye on that. And then I'll be running around shouting it to everyone, get yourself back into court. All right. And, get this case law there, and whatever fines you've got, get them refunded if you've paid them. If you haven't paid them yet, then let's get it into court with that case law. Have to keep it. I mean, you might be able to do it now anyway, right? But keep an eye on it because it's not finished yet. They should have just finished it, but oh yeah, I know. Clive, they've got plenty immigrants to come and replace all the people that are getting killed over here, isn't it? He's just tried to get ask for a friend request, Tracy, who you've just said there. But so when I went to click accept and say yes, apparently he's got too many friends, so I couldn't accept him. He was asking for a friend request. The name of the guy is Patrick King. That is who subpoenaed the Attorney General in Alberta, Patrick King. So Google it and. Yeah, they never isolated it at all. So they have no proof that any of this was needed. Where we know it wasn't. We know it's like complete and utter craziness. But so we have to keep an eye on him. Patrick King. Right. So what I'll do then, we'll keep an eye on that deal, but look for him, Google him, Patrick King, and it's Alberta if you want to Google that bit as well. And he has just subpoenaed the the Attorney General. Okay, so moving on because I'm gonna have to finish. So yeah, where is it? Where it couldn't. Yeah, exactly. So they were taking him to court. He was fighting the fine. So well, we just have to see. He's like every single time anybody pops up out of doing anything, though, it's all apparently it's going to be controlled opposition. They say that about every single entity that does anything. you know, but we'll just have to keep a close eye on everything, and hopefully, yeah, that's him. I watched it with Stu Powers, done the interview. But yeah, like I say, the hang on a second, I'm just gonna go back on there. Right. So then I was gonna say something about like the debt collectors. So like obviously these are lots and lots of different topics and lots of different things, and the main thing that we originally set the group up for was like the sovereignty side of it with the contract law, because everything is a contract. But obviously now and again it's going to touch on to like the debt side and the mortgage side. Whoops. The yeah. So the thing is, though, is I am going to set up a separate site or a separate group or something. I'm busy working on it now, but I'm still trying to get this trust thing, as well as I have to literally physically type out all these facts and figures for the 1099 to get them sent off and make sure I've got them all correct. Because the group in the UK, they just send them back to you if you've done it wrong and you've got to do it again. So I've got to make sure that I do that. So it's like a full, hey, Dime Bar, it's like a full-time job, you know. But so I'm going to set up like a completely separate side of it so that I'm not mixing sovereignty and debt at the same time, even though it does kind of touch, right? So it was good. I thought it was great on there, right? So the thing is with the debt side, all right, especially when we've got the debt collectors and we're dealing with DSOs, okay? So say for instance that you have a debt with the bank, you got yourself a loan and you know you're not paying it. What they're going to do is they're going to actually write it off against tax, so they're not going to lose any money whatsoever, so don't feel sorry for them, right? And then what they do is they pass these debts onto like it's literally like eBay for debt, kind of. So what you don't do is you don't go, so look, I want Henry's debt. Oh, look, I want Arthur's debt. Oh, I want Elizabeth's debt. What they do is they buy a list, and that list can be worth like, you know, 2 million in debt, and they'll buy it for $1,000, £1,000. And then they'll start contacting everybody on this. Now, a lot of times when I've seen these lists, they're out there. Once you've gone past the 7 years in the UK, right, they are statute barred after 7 years. What that means is no one legally or lawfully are allowed to speak to you about that debt. It's statute barred. It's finished. All right, but they do, right? And they buy this debt, and then they ring you, and with the hope that most people will not know that it's statute barred after 7 years, and then also will panic and pay it, or agree to pay it, or make a contract. Once you've made a contract with them, verbal or written, right, then that debt is now alive again. Okay, so you have to avoid doing that. There's a proper word, I can't remember it now. But anyway, so so this is what these debt collection companies are. Pure filth. They've got no standing in law. They've got no legal standing. Hello, you. This is the old girl just come back from having a little wander down the street. She doesn't go very far. Yeah. She's 14. This is one of the, well, they were all rescued in Spain. This one was the first one. Isn't it? Yes. Good girl. Forgot what I was saying now. Oh, yeah. So the debt collection agencies, they've got absolutely no legal standing whatsoever. All of them are relying on you being scared and just paying them. When the bank settles the debt, right, what they actually do is they actually they'll write it off against tax, so that they're not losing any money, and then they'll sell it, right? But they sell the lists. They don't assign and sell your specific debt. This is the key. So if you're getting into let's be careful, not giving any legal advice here, not giving any advice whatsoever. Okay, say that you're not going to pay the debt, right? And they've just they've wrote it off, and then this debt company pick it up on one of these lists. They have no contract, right? So if you don't want to pay the bank, just don't pay them. Eventually, what they're going to do is, that's not legal advice. This is just the way it is. They're going to pass it on to one of these debt. You've already won if it goes on to a debt collection and agency. One of them's, I've just got one. I was laughing. I was like, get in, good. Marston's, is that what it's called? Can somebody tell me, is it Marston's or something like that? All right, yeah. See you later next time. Cool. But like they sent me a letter saying, "Oh, you owe us. So we bought this debt, right? Well, you know they haven't. So what you do is you send off for a DSAR, all right? A DSAR, data subject access request. Now, by law, they have to complete that and send it back properly and correctly. Now, they can't, all right? On the DSAR, right, when you're asking for that, they will not send it back properly. Now, because they haven't sent it back properly, they've broken the law, right? GDPR law, right? The rules and regulations. Theirs, not ours, all right? So they've at Marston's, that's it. I just got one. That was hilarious. I wasn't even really sure what it was for, but as soon as it parasites, as soon as I get that, I was like, well, what it is it's actually a cancelled insurance policy is what they've done it for me. So I wouldn't pay for the insurance policy, and they've bought a list, a couple of £100, but I can still practice doing my Moorcroft. Yeah, it's not. I'm not doing Moorcroft, or am I? Can't remember now. It's like, I'm sure mine's Marston's and Fearon's is Moorcroft. But when they don't send the DSAR back properly, right, they have actually broken the law. So what you do then is you're going to actually get compensation from them. So what we need to do is we need to send them a letter of action or a letter before action, an LBA, right? So that you're telling them then, look, we're going to take you to court now, and we're going to claim this against you because you have broken the GDPR, and I've got all the proper terms and conditions and the numbers, GDPR this, GDPR that, DPA this, DPA that, and they've broke them because it didn't tell you it all. They can't tell you it all because they haven't got a contract, right? They've got nothing whatsoever, and they're handling your data. So they're trying to pretend they're not handling your data, right? And they're trying to pretend that they can legally handle your data, and they can't handle your data. So that's why they can't give you the information you're asking for, because it's admitting fraud. They can't admit fraud because then they go to prison. So what you do is, because they've broken that rule, then you then tell them, right, I'm taking you to court and I'm going to prosecute you and I've got a list, and I'll put it up on the group, not just on the website, but on the group, so everybody can see it. As soon as you've done that, then you go and fill in an N1 claim form from the government website, and it's taken them to court. You've got to pay for it, right? But then you can get compensation for them because they have committed a tort on you. They've broken that GDPR laws. That's why you do the DSAR. So this is when we go chase them. This is when you reverse it completely. Okay, this is why we should be glad when we get a letter, some stupid idiot from Marston's or Moorcroft or whoever that is. All right, all of these debt collection people. It's brilliant. So you want that to happen, okay? So what happens is if you haven't paid the credit card, the bank loan, or whatever it is, they'll get their money, right? And it's not even money, is it? But they'll put the couple of zeros back into their account, right? So you just go, let it go to the collection agency. Once it's gone to the collection agency, okay, then you send them the DSAR. They can't fill in the DSAR because it admits fraud. So once they haven't filled it in, you send them a letter before action, or a letter before, I think that's what it's called, explaining them what you're going to do. And then the next thing is you fill in the M1 claim form and you prosecute them. Some of them might even settle before. That's what the letter before action is. You're telling them what you'll accept, and then they'll make an offer. All right. But if they won't, then you put your claim in. Okay. And you put your claim into with the affidavit, all right, to the court, Okay, and that's how you handle them, because a lot of people, and they'll talk about like a 3-letter process, a 4-letter process, 5-letter process, and it can go on and on and on. Now, I do understand that it's good and you feel good that you actually get the debt company to run away from you. I understand. But if they haven't filled in that DSOR properly, if they haven't responded correctly, they have theirs, not our laws, our rules are their laws, their rules, they've broken it, and we can get our money from them. We can get compensation because they've broken it. Okay, and that's how you make sure that you stand correctly. Okay, so you do your letter before action, telling them, I'm going to take you to court, I'm going to get this claim against you. You can settle before we get there, and if they don't do that, then you fill in the N1 claim form. Yeah, N1. There might be an N1 something, but if you go onto the government website or Google it, N1 claim form, and it'll come up. This is the UK, by the way, but there'll be equivalent in Australia and New Zealand and America and everything, from like how to put the claim in the court, probably easier than it is here. You know, so now we are also, like I said, I am going to set up a site once we get the time, get this 1099, because I have to fill all them forms in and send it off, and I'm preparing the private trust so we can put everyone in a private trust. All right, so I'm still preparing that, but the other website, or the other part of the website, will purely be for debts, where we'll actually even be able to do it for you, or at least help you get through it. Okay. What's this one? Yeah, I'm going to be going as well. It's at 3 a.m. there. Well done for keeping up that time. Brilliant, and very, very good to see you as well. Okay, well done, brilliant. Get to sleep, get some rest now. 3 a.m. Wow. The claim that you put in, Helen, is against the debt collector, because they're the ones that are breaking the DSOR, not the original. Because the original one, right? Say for instance, Lloyd's Bank, right? Lloyd's Bank. So you got a loan at Lloyd's Bank, and you don't pay that money, and they send it off to like a debt collection agency, and the debt collection agency, you so right, okay, there's your DSOS. I want all the details. They don't give you it because they know they can't, right? You claim against them. The bank's finished. They're gone. They've closed it. They don't care. And when you see them, right, a lot of times, you see what happens is they buy these lists, you see. Now, there should be a deed of novation and a deed of assignment if there was like a passing of a debt, but there isn't. So, and there needs to be a wet ink signed contract, and there isn't a wet ink signed contract. So, you know, and this is all in our favor. But most people, all right, get worried and scared and just pay, or agree to pay. And as soon as you've agreed, even verbally, you've got a contract again, you know, and then it can bug the life out of you forever. You know, so my back. So just remember that about like the debt collection agency. It's always good to allow it to go to the debt collection agency, whatever it would be. Even stuff like, you know, council tax. I'm not saying don't pay a council tax. You know, you do what you do. There's ways of doing everything properly, doing it all lawfully and legally, and because you know it's a scam. You know it doesn't pay for the lights or the bloody clowns in costumes. You know, it's just it all gets sent to the same place. It all goes to the IRS. You know, it doesn't matter if it's your income tax or your council tax or your property tax. You know. I am sure, right? I am sure that we have 3 or 4 DSORs in the files on our group. I'm going to go check it now, and I'm sure we have. If not, I'll make sure there's one go, because you can. It's quite easy to do a DSOR if you know like the basics of it, and what you want to do is, well, I'll just make sure that one goes up there, and it also goes into the group. Onto the website as well. I've never put them up there because you know it's not really what the group was originally for. Okay. Yeah, it's joinder. Once you're given, it's really funny when you ring up, say for instance, Sky, right? And you want to, I don't know, what would you ring them for? Um, um, you want to pay for something, all right? And then also, but for security, then you got to give me your name and your date of birth and your account number. It's got, all they're doing is they're creating joinder, right? That's joinder. It's got nothing to do with security details. You know what I mean? It's all just joinder. Okay. So we got to remember that. But I'll make sure the DSOR goes up. But remember that system, if you want to call it that. But that's how you should do it. Don't get carried away with these 3, 4, 5, 6 letter processes. It's a simple process. It's a DSOR that you send off to the debt collection, not the banks. Not the banks. Don't get mixed up. Let it go into default so that the debt collection company that are there, and then with the debt collection company have got no legal standing, they've got no contract. Just think about it. Did you sign a contract with them? Did you give them permission to speak to you? Did you give them permission to have your data? All right. So you send them the DSOR, they refuse, and they come back with a load of bump. They even come back and tell you, well, your original loan was this, your original what do you call it? Like contract was this, or it's not a contract, it's an agreement. And this is a statement, this is a statement, this is a statement. It's just a load of gumph and a load of BS that they give you. All right, but they don't complete the DSOR. So once they haven't completed the DSOR, you give them a letter before action telling them that you'll settle out of court. If they won't settle out of court because they broke GDPR guidelines, they've broken a law, then you will do the N1 form and you will put a claim in against them. And people are getting between £2,000 and £5,000 per claim. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad. Okay, so the make sure that you know how to do it properly. The DSOR, we've got quite a few of them. I'm sure that they're in the group. I'll make sure that it goes on there. I'll make sure it goes on the website, the free website, the free part of it. We've got all the forms to do, like, for the LND, all right, which we redesigned like the forms from 2 or 3, like what do you call it? It was commercial warfare, and also like the redemption, and something about the UCC. Can't remember it. And we sort of like made it more along the Magna Carta as well. Not right. You have to read it to understand it. I'm not saying anything about Article 61. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But like a lot, the US Constitution was written from the Magna Carta, and there's a lot of laws in the Magna Carta that are still appropriate. So we've actually, and we used case law and everything to do that L&D. That is for sovereignty, and also we did like the hold harmless and everything. All those forms are on the site for free, and then we'll also put the DSOR up on there so you can see it. But it's a template. Remember the template, okay? So you've got to put the template is a skeleton, and you have to put like the life on and the meat on the skeleton. All right. Okay, so what I was I need to do one more thing. 2 more things. All right, we're talking about a letter before action. Now, this one is, imagine now we've got these things. I bet you they're coming back. But I went in to get my glasses fixed, right? My reading glasses. These are my old reading glasses, but the legs fell off my other ones. All right, my legs fell off these things. So I had super glued them on and my hand got stuck to my glasses. And then anyway, they both fell off in the end. And so I went into the glasses shop, and I had my camera on because I was down Blythe. I was down this town. So I had my camera on and I switched it on, and I was walking into the shop, and I just walked in, had nothing on, but everyone else did. This is a few weeks ago, a month ago maybe, and I just went, oh, look, I need to get these fixed. The legs are falling off, and the guy's there, and he's all this and that, and he took them off of me, took them out of my hand, okay, He didn't have gloves on. I didn't have gloves. He took them out of my hand, and he was walking away somewhere. I don't know where he was going, and he went, "Oh," and I said, "I just want to see if you can, yeah, super glued them to my fingers, my glasses. Have you sanitized?" I went, "No, no, no. It doesn't matter about that. I don't put that poison on myself." And he's got a hold of my glasses, which he took out of my hand. And, and he says, "Oh, well, I can't help you unless you're going to sanitize." And I've got this on video. I don't know where it is. And I just said a few things to him and, snatched them out of my hand, and told him what I thought of him. And I just walked out. Obviously you shouldn't have done that, but that is discrimination. That is 100% discrimination. Okay. And I've got this letter before action about discrimination that I'm going to share. I'm not going to read it out. I was going to read it out, but it's too long-winded to read out. But I'm going to share this on the group, and I'm going to put it up on the website as well. And it's basically telling anyone that does anything safe, if you get challenged for that, I know, like, it will come back. It will, or sanitize, like they said to me after he touched my hand and took my glasses, he's asking me to sanitize. Too late. You're diseased already. You're going to die. It's craziness. But so if anybody does any discrimination to you about, like, look, yeah, puts you in a position, right, you have to keep don't do what I did and start like telling them what to do and where to go and what he is. All right, get it filmed with that body cam. Better keep calm, collect as much evidence as you can, get names as much as you can. All right, and then use this letter that I'm going to give you, okay, and send to the head office and claim compensation. And the thing is, it's not about money. It's not about, like, because it's all false fiat currency anyway. It's about putting these people in the place, right? And it's about, like, fighting and proving all of these idiots are idiots, all right? That's what it's for. It's not about, like, trying to sneak pennies off people. It's putting them in and making sure that you do things properly, So Kester Disability, they actually done, a few people got their compensation, but you don't have to, like, go through people. You can do it yourself. Just get one of these letters and send it off, okay? And then if you can't get it, right, what do you call it, and you can't, like, do it yourself, then ask, like, a disability company to do the what do you call it, the compensation for you, okay? But that letter you can definitely do, which I'm going to put up on the site, and it but you shouldn't actually have to say that you're exempt. You shouldn't have to say anything at all, right? They're not allowed to talk to you, okay? And if they say, like, again, I went to try and get one of my tires fixed, and the guy wanted to know where my lanyard was. I'm telling my guy, shove it up your arse, mate. And I just can't be bothered with the argument. I'm just walking away all the time, But in reality, right, what we need to do is to start fighting back and putting them in the place to tell it, that they're not allowed to talk to us like that, and that there is compensation to be had if you were going to discriminate, because that's what it is, discrimination. Okay, you shouldn't have to be able to tell them anything about it. So give me a quick look at this one last thing before. Right. Okay. So I have another letter as well, which is like a vaccination indemnification, which I'm going to add onto the site. Now, there is a few different versions out there that I've seen, but what you have to make sure that we'll all realize that we are free will, sovereign men and women. There is no mandate in the world that can actually force you to do anything. Okay? It's all free will. All right? So no matter what anybody says, now this is why I'm going to get this private trust done as fast as I can, and then put everybody in that private trust, so that in that private trust, you've got you in the private trust, your body, right? We're going to have your DNA and your blood, your fingerprints, so they can't take anything off you, because it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the trust. Okay? This is going to be more and more vitally important as this progresses. You watch, okay? This is not like people keep telling me, oh, we're getting back to normal. We're going back to normal. This isn't fucking normal, and this isn't going, there isn't no end to this until we beat it. So we have to keep beating it, right? So that's why I'm pushing really hard for to get this private trust, so people can get into this private trust and be protected in that certain way. And when you're in that trust, which I'm very close to doing it now, I'm very, very close to being able to sort it for you. And you can put not just property, but yourselves and your children, or not your children, your sons and daughters. Don't let them turn them into children. And when you're putting them into trust, once you've put them into trust, you can apply for a de jure sovereign birth certificate, so that you can cancel, right? And with an affidavit form with the birth register that is they've used by misinformation, non-disclosure, and falsehoods to actually create. When they've created, like, the baby becomes a ward of state because you didn't know, because of non-full disclosure. So we can beat that as well once we've got into a private trust, okay? And from the private trust, and then change the certificates. And you can do it for yourself as well with your birth certificate. You can have it changed, all right? Because you didn't agree to any of what they did. And it's got nothing to do with what do you call it? These treasury accounts and everything like that. It is what it is, and the Seneca KV trust is what it is. All right. But this will not make any difference to it. So on the treasury account thing, if you talk about like the 1099, all right, when we're looking at that, and a lot of people, I get messages every day, mind, every day, all asking about this and the Sara Jasara, and do you think this is happening? There it is. There it is. All right. But rather than hoping, like, and explaining it, watch me do it. Watch me either fail, right, miserably, and then say, haha, right, or it works, and then there is your, whatever you want to call it, Nasara Jasara. That is how you actually do it, because you created the securities in the first place. And it's progressing, it's going along there. So, I'm going to be working on that all day tomorrow, although I have got to build a bit of a workstation in my shed. Just built the shed last couple of weeks, been working, doing that as well as everything else. So I'm going to be mixing it between doing the 1099, building the shed, and also like the I won't fail, I will not. No, you're right. And then everyone can copy me. Okay, even if it's going to the other group, I won't get anything from it. I don't want anything from anyone. I'll send you all to like this is the group to go to. I'm not going to recommend anything until I know. Until you say, look, I've got this check. Look, it's gone in my bank. I've cashed it and I'm spending it, right? Then I know it works. Because you see, a lot of people said that as soon as you get given the money, then they close the account. But I know people that have been doing this for many years, right? The guy that I was doing on the seminar last weekend, Tazadak's been doing it for 10, 11 years, year after year after year. He's still there and he's still doing it. So, they haven't closed the accounts. He gets that money repaid all the time. I'm figuring all of that out as I go, and I have to go back because I stopped like studying on the 1099 till I got them forms, because some people that were putting it on the groups, it took me 3-4 months to get them 1099 forms. So I thought, well, I'm not going to bother with learning all the ins and outs of it until I get them. But now I've got them. I got mine within 3 weeks. So I'll go back onto that and I'll figure all of that out. And do I need that USA account? They didn't. This woman, she's got her check sent to her in the UK. It's in the UK and got it. All they've said was, you will suffer with the exchange rate if you don't put it. But I don't care, to be honest. if I put the check in US dollars and they rip me off on a horrible rate, because that wasn't my money anyway. I never knew I couldn't get it. So it's all gravy. It's all bonus. All right. And then you can do it year after year. And that money that you get and then you spend, you reclaim that again because you spent it in that year. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to shoot off now. All right. But next week, I'm going to do it just members only. I'm going to go and do a private webinar. So if you want to do that, I'll put the link up before. If not, if you can't see it, ask me later. I'm going to put it on this because it's live now. And once it goes up properly and you can edit the stuff, I'll put a link in there as well to the site, to all the forms for free. And then I'll be putting up progress all the time, winning and losing, all right, of all this 1099, going through everything, okay? But I'm 100% sure, right, that this will go through no problem, and then you can all copy, okay? All right, so I'm going to shoot off. I'm going to change this for a nice cold beverage. My throat's wrecking us. All right, so I will see you all later. All right, so next week we're going to do it only, like I say, like for the members only, but you can, I will check the email yet. The email, peter@claimyourstrawman.com. Okay, see you all later, people. How do I do this? Right, take care and stay safe, and we'll see you all later.